Welcome back, everybody, to the Knicks Rewind podcast. It's been
a while. It's been
I think
a month, maybe.
Yeah.
I think we did it like a month ago.
But excited because we have basketball that starts tomorrow, and we've had 4 preseason
Yes,
games.
we do.
And although we didn't do pods after them, you and I were both following.
We were
closely.
both. I mean, it's been like a stressful couple of weeks.
On a Knicks note, we have basketball that starts tomorrow. We have a fun-looking team. We went 3-1 in the preseason. Now, fun considering like we played 2
Those
awful
were awesome
teams.
games, man. I had the most fun watching preseason basketball I've ever had in my life.
So those are exciting, and we have some young and nice, fun pieces we're going to talk about. So let's just get right into it. Preseason thoughts, and then we're going to get into like a season preview. Shouldn't take that long, and then we'll do some quick NBA general stuff at the end. Preseason. We played the Pistons twice and the Cavs twice.
Yes.
We had one blowout game, which was very fun.
Yes. The game, the last preseason game, it looked like everything was clicking, hitting threes, playing good defense, et cetera, et cetera. That was awesome. Game before, we played terribly for 3 quarters, had an awesome fourth quarter, and then carried that momentum. I don't remember the second Pistons game all that well.
We lost that one.
But we didn't play very well.
No. And we won the first one.
We won the first one. I think they were both pretty ugly games. The Pistons are an ugly team.
Yeah, they're not going to be very fun this year.
No, they're just
I don't know
weird,
if I'm ever going to
dude.
tune into a Pistons game all year.
I don't think I will. I don't know if they, like, who'd put them on national TV.
Yeah, I don't think they have one national TV.
Exactly.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, so preseason overall, who were some studs? Who were some duds? I have some in my mind. I'm sure ours will be pretty similar.
I'm sure they will too. It's first stud, Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah.
I think that's
I agree.
Obvious. Do we want to
Yeah, let's talk about Quickly.
debrief?
So what
Yeah.
Quickly is going to provide to this team something that we've needed for years. Just so long. Shooting. A point guard who can shoot. And yeah, that's kind of it. There's not much to it.
I don't think Quickly's ever gonna be a great point guard. I think looks very good. Like, he has the potential to be very good. He's shown a tendency to pass really well. Like, his career high in college in like 55, 60 games at Kentucky was 5 assists.
Mm-hmm.
He had, in the last 2 preseason games, he had 5 and 7 assists. So I think like he's showing playmaking that he didn't really get the opportunity to show at Kentucky.
Right. Well, at Kentucky, I think he averaged the same amount of turnovers as assists.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, passing was never his thing, but you knew right when we drafted him, what was he, like 43% from deep, 92
from the line.
So, like, you automatically know, all right, this kid's going to be a great shooter. He's going to provide spacing.
Exactly.
Something that the Knicks desperately need with guys like Randall, with guys like Peyton.
Exactly.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Et cetera.
So he provides something for this team that we need desperately, and I'm really excited because he dropped 22. He had 5 steals,
5 assists.
It was like really exciting.
Balled out.
And Nick's Twitter is loving it.
I love him.
I love him too.
Yeah, he just seems like a good guy.
Yeah. And he's going to work hard, and I think he like appears to be happy here, and I like where this team is going.
Easy to root for.
He's easy to root for. Good point. All right. So we mentioned a stud.
Dud. For a dud.
And you can't say Obi because it's too early. I'm not going to let that happen.
You're not going to let me say Obi? Okay, that was my first thought. Okay, I think then my next automatic reaction for a dud, would be Ignas Brazdeikis. So, only got in 1 preseason game, which I think is concerning in itself. And in that 1 preseason game, didn't really show the things that we'd hoped Iggy would be good at. Like, I think he only scored 1 point. That's Iggy's big thing. Like, he's supposed to be
he's a scorer.
And that's worrisome. And I worry that he's never really just going to be an NBA player because of his body and because of his lack of athleticism.
Right. For me, it's hard to call any of these guys like duds. I don't think we really had any duds.
Yeah.
But I will say Randall for 3 games.
Yeah. Fair.
Was pissing me off because it wasn't the exact same stuff from last year.
Yeah. And
then the fourth game
he looked awesome.
He looked awesome. He was dribbling. He was driving and penetrating.
Like 8 assists, yeah.
And he's kicking out. And he had 8 assists, like you said. And that was really exciting to see. And I think that's 80% of the reason why we won by 40 or whatever, how much we won by. A stud for me. I mean, this is tough because small sample size, but Jared Harper looked really good.
Okay, I agree.
I was really excited.
I agree. I think Jared Harper looked awesome.
I think and we've got the 2 Auburn guys, Bryce Brown and Jared Harper.
Yeah.
And I was just, I worry because, and we'll get to Frank in a minute because you made a note before the show started that's important to talk about, but he's going to take, I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. He got him 1 preseason game.
Yeah.
He played well, small sample size, like I said.
Small, yeah.
He'll probably do some G League, but I think he's a guy to keep your eye on. I
think he is too. He's very fast,
good athlete,
and he
short.
Shot the ball well in that one game, which is encouraging. But I don't know. Yeah, I think that can kind of, just before we go, Knox played very well last 2 preseason games, and the last 5 quarters. So like the 4th quarter against the Cavs, and then the first 3 quarters because he didn't play in the 4th. That's the best I've ever seen Mitch play. I know you didn't get a chance to catch the last preseason game, but just like Mitch was not fouling, staying grounded, blocking shots, getting offensive rebounds. He looked awesome. And Knox, obviously, not much to say about him. Just he's hitting his shots. Yeah, hit 3s.
And he had 20, and that was really encouraging to see.
6 or 7 from 3.
Because when we drafted him, and even a year after, I was like, if I see this kid, he's never gonna be a great playmaker or defender. He's never gonna, be this insane finisher. But if he can shoot upwards of 40% from 3 on like 5 or 6 attempts per game, that's a really valuable player.
Yeah. No, I think if you can get Knox shooting a lot of 3s, it will be big. It seems like he's got a rotation spot locked up, as coming off the bench as that backup 3. And yeah, I thought he looked awesome. And then maybe one more dud to go along would be Dennis Smith Jr. Played really good defense. I add better defense than we've ever seen, but probably offense was still very.
His offense is still concerning. A lot of poor shot selection, turnovers.
Just doesn't really know his role.
He doesn't. And it makes sense because he doesn't really have one.
No, he doesn't know what to do with himself.
But seeing guys like, we cut Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. You saw that.
So sad.
Tenure,
great Knicks tenure.
Great Knicks tenure. It's fun to watch. I want to talk about RJ for a minute.
That was another stud. Forgot to mention him.
Yeah, he played well.
He balled out. Every single game he played very well. Yeah. He didn't have a bad game.
He's in the first preseason game, we were texting, and you're like, God, he still can't shoot. He airballed back-to-back 3s or whatever.
To be honest.
And he looked, he started 0 for 5.
He came out 0 for 5, airballed 2 3s. He didn't look great. But after that first 5 shots, he ended up finishing that game really well, played awesome the second game, and continued that streak to just look very, very solid.
Yeah. And you want to see consistency from a guy who's now in his 2nd year. He's going to get opportunity. Just consistency is key, and obviously you want to continue to see the shot develop and the free throws. And he shot well from the line.
Free throws was
and
big.
That was really nice to see.
I'm like 3/4 of the way on the RJ train.
You can't hop on now.
I can't hop on now. Why can't I hop on now?
You're either on from the start.
He hasn't done anything yet.
All right, fine.
I'm getting on.
Alec Burks, I kind of like that piece.
I like Alec Burks,
I like the piece too. I think that was a good addition. Obviously, it didn't make many headlines, but I think he just provides more shooting, some veteran leadership. He's the oldest player on the team.
Is he actually?
Yeah.
He's older than Bullock?
I think.
Oh, wow.
Either him or Bullock. We don't have one player over 30. I know that.
Wow.
So
that is... Bullock's only 29.
Okay, so Bullock is the one who's 29. I don't know how old Burks is then.
Burks is also 29.
Okay.
So they're both 1991.
Okay, cool.
So we don't have a player older than 30. Yeah.
How do you think Nerlens Noel fits in with this team?
I like Nerlens a lot. I think it's important when you have you kind of have this feeling of like roster continuity between like Mitch and Noel because they're very similar players. So they both kind of can seamlessly fit in with any type of player who comes on the floor. It's not like Mitch and Luke Cornett, who couldn't be more different in terms of like their offensive role. But Noel and Mitch, like they rim rolling centers, like they roll to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for point guards to like players to adjust with playing them. You don't have to change like your actions, your personnel to like fit each of their games because they're both super similar. I like Noel a lot too. He blocks shots, he dunks. That's all I have to say about him. Like he'll be good. Yeah.
So I think one of the most interesting things that's come about from offseason and free agency, and this is not a new theme for the Knicks, is point guard depth chart.
Yes.
So right now we have a lot of guards.
A lot.
We have, just Miles Powell, who I don't know how many minutes he's going to see.
He got cut.
He got cut. You're right.
Yeah.
He got cut.
He got cut.
But you got Jared Harper. You got Elfrid Payton. You got Quickly, Dennis Smith, Austin Rivers, Frank. Jeez. I don't know. Bryce Brown might be more of a shooting guard, but he's still a guard.
Yeah. I think he got cut too. I
don't think he got cut.
He got cut. I think the only guys we have left are Spellman made the team, but Brown got cut, as did and Pinson and Harper, two-way guys.
All right, so don't listen. My phone's broken. I'm not getting notifications.
Okay. But yeah, so that's, and then we cut. I don't know. We don't have to keep this.
Whatever. Let's just talk about point guard depth. So you mentioned before the show started, you're worried Frank is not going to see a whole lot of. He's on the outs.
Yeah.
With new coach coming in, new front office guys. These guys didn't draft him.
Exactly.
You're afraid he's on the outs.
I think as much as I love Emmanuel Quickly, and I love everything that he's done, and he's kind of everything I've always wanted Frank to be, and has looked to be that so far. I just think his emergence kind of was the nail in the coffin for Frank. I don't see Frank shouldn't play over Alec Burks. Like there are a lot of guys he shouldn't play over Bullock. Like he has to show that ability to shoot, and I think like the way that Quickly played at the lead guard position, which we weren't sure he was going to be able to do, kind of screwed Frank a little bit. Yeah.
So as much as Knicks Twitter would like to see Quickly start day one, Peyton's going to be our starter in all likelihood.
In all likelihood, yes.
So right now,
you never know.
So Frank might be the last guard off the bench these days.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't see. Yeah, because Rivers, we have Austin Rivers too, which is not going to be great for Frank. Managing those minutes are going to be.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And most Knicks fans will be unhappy, and I can feel that being a theme for this year.
I can too.
Peyton getting way too many minutes.
Yeah.
Rivers, he's still young. New guy, though.
Still young.
We'll see how he plays. I'm kind of excited to see him play.
I am too, yeah.
He'll provide shooting, some athleticism. He's a proven solid role player.
Yeah, and he can get to the basket well. He's played well, been decent his whole career. But yeah, I was watching Macri does a post game like recap every time. He said like I don't envy Tibbs's job at all.
Yeah.
Because this point guard rotation, this circus is gonna be it's gonna be a disaster. Yeah. So who gets minutes and who doesn't is gonna be.
It's gonna be really interesting to see. If I had to guess right now, Peyton gets most of the minutes.
I would agree with that.
Austin Rivers is second off the bench.
I would say
Quickly gets close to the minutes that Rivers gets, but he's probably the third guy off the bench. And Frank
is nothing. And then you got to remember Dennis too, because Dennis has been getting those backup PG minutes in.
Jeez, God, there's so many guys.
So many guys. And then you got to throw Burks and what's his name, Bullock in there, and
there's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. So don't envy.
Hopefully, Dennis Smith doesn't take up Frank's minutes or Quickly's minutes. And we're gonna get into this in a minute where we're gonna talk. It's a prove it year.
Yeah, it is a prove it year. We'll talk about that.
Now.
Yeah, I'll talk about it now. So start off with Dennis. We can start off with Dennis. It's a prove it year for him. If he doesn't play well
he might be
this year, he might be out of the league next year. Like I would not be surprised. He might get a training camp deal, a 1-year deal on a team that just needs a backup point guard. But after that, I don't see a lot.
He's running out of time.
Yeah,
he needs to prove it. And it's gonna be hard for him with all those point guard minutes that need to be spread around.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be interesting to watch that because he may not. If he continues to play the way he has been playing, he won't be on this team next year.
No, he won't. He won't. And I have seen the effort on defense has really improved and has turned a corner there. But the offense, if you can't be a viable threat on offense as a guard in the NBA, you won't play. And he doesn't have the distributing ability of a guy like Peyton. So yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it.
It's a prove it year for Kevin Knox.
It is a prove it year for Kevin Knox. Year 3.
It's time to go.
It's time to actually be decent.
It's time to be a positive player in the league.
Can't see him just like flailing around the court anymore, like throwing up terrible shots. He's got to shoot over 40% from the field this year. Yeah. That's my goal for him. Just at least that. And maybe over 37 from 3.
And I know he's still young, but it might be time to stop using that excuse.
He's too young. Yeah, he's old enough now.
Yeah.
He's old enough now.
And like I said, he's already starting. It's looking good. Preseason, he's been shooting really well from 3 past couple games.
And you just hope that continues.
And you just hope that continues. I don't know if it will. It's hard to tell with this kid.
Yeah.
But we all would love to see him.
We all would love to see him. Yes.
Which other guys? I think Mitchell Robinson, too. I don't know. It's not as much as Dennis. It's not as much as Knox.
It actually really is a prove it year for Mitchell
But it is a prove it year. He's got to prove he's not going to foul out in 15 minutes. He's got to prove that he can start and be disciplined, like I said, to not foul. He's got to get defensive rebounds, which, Clyde, I think it was Clyde, pointed out, or maybe it was Mike. He's just not a very good defensive rebounder.
He's a great offensive rebounder. Like, he is awesome at that because he's so springy. He gets off the floor so quickly, his second jump and stuff, but his defensive rebounding
But in terms
great.
of, like, fundamentals and mechanics, he's not going to box him out. He's going to rely on his athleticism.
Jump as high as he can.
And on defensive rebounds, that's less important. It's more about, getting in a stance.
Exactly, yeah. And that's and he also, remember about Mitch is he's got this funky contract, so like he's got a 4th-year option, but if you accept the 4th-year option, he's an unrestricted free agent after his 4th year. If we decline his TM option this offseason, he's a restricted free agent. Mm-hmm. So we're probably going to decline his team options so we can, like Jokic had a similar deal.
And we're going to just give him
and we're just
going
to or we do or we don't. So
that'll be interesting.
Kind of a crossroads for him.
So
if he can keep up his play that he had in the 4th preseason game, he will be on the all defensive team.
Yeah, and he will be certified
starter. I think he's going to start opening night. That's my prediction. But
I agree. I don't think they'll start Noel. But
I don't think they will either after missing the last 2 games.
Yeah.
But
all right. What was I going to say? I totally just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah,
Mitch?
I got it.
Yeah,
I got it. Last year, you and I both talked about how it was like one of the worst viewing experiences as a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
That was one of the most boring. Well, I don't want to say boring because I always enjoy watching Knicks basketball. But in terms of other seasons, that team was pretty atrocious to watch.
It was hard to watch. Just
this year,
Morris and Rand.
This year, we may not win 21 games.
Exactly.
But it's going to be fun because we have Obi and we have a lot of prove-it guys. And there's an argument. I don't know if he's a prove-it guy right now, but there's an argument for RJ.
There's an argument.
He had a mediocre rookie year.
Yeah.
In terms of like Knicks fans, I think all Knicks fans believe in him. I don't know if the rest of the league believes in him.
Yeah.
It's not do or die for him, obviously, like it may be for Dennis Smith Jr., but he's got to prove something this year.
I think it's important. I think it speeds up the Knicks rebuild a lot if RJ Barrett looks like he's on his way to be an NBA All-Star. Mm-hmm. And from what we saw in the preseason, fingers crossed, that looks to be the case. And if he can continue to like take good shots, finish around the basket, hit his free throws, he'll average 18, like 4 and 5 or whatever, and those are great numbers. And continuing on that trend of growth in his 3rd year and 4th year and beyond. But if he doesn't, then it looks a little worse for the Knicks rebuild. And
it's like, okay, maybe we have 5 more years rather than 2 or 3,
It's time for some of these young guys, because RJ was the 3rd overall pick. Like, it's time for him to show, you know? Like, it's not like Knox. We picked Knox, you expected him to be a project. Pick Frank, you expected him to be a project.
You take shots on guys like Dennis, just in shots in the dark.
RJ Barrett is a guy who averaged 23 points a game at Duke. Like, it's time for him to go. It's time for him to show.
We haven't talked about Obi because... We've been talking about these guys. So let's talk about Obi for a minute. He looked good in his first game. He played a solid... How many points did he have? 11?
12, 11, like 20 minutes. Yeah.
He looked good. I was like excited. He's not shooting well from 3.
He hasn't looked as good in the last
few games. Obviously,
Can't be
panicking.
worried.
We're not panicking
yet.
It's been a few preseason games. But what are your expectations for him this upcoming season?
I think he'll average I think he'll get off to kind of a rough start. I think he's going to have a tough time after coming from Dayton, where he was the guy, like completely the guy, got all the touches, all the love, all the touches he wanted. He's going to have a hard time adjusting to being like a role player on the Knicks. And I think he'll struggle a bit for the first 20, 25 games. Then I think he'll start to find his footing. He's a really good offensive player. We all know that. He's got the talent. If he plays well on defense, he's on his way. I think he'll average about 11 points a game, 10, 11 points a game. Maybe make a case for Rookie of the Year if we get up to like 13, 14. But yeah, that's what I think about Obi.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him. I think he's a super hard worker from what I've seen.
I agree.
I'm excited about him. Even I see him like you said, having a rough start and then having a Rookie of the Year type month.
Yeah, exactly.
And then after that, build some momentum off of that and end the year pretty strong.
And the year good, yeah. Exactly.
I don't think he'll win Rookie of the Year. I think it's gonna be LaMelo.
Really?
I
don't think LaMelo's gonna shoot well enough.
I just think he's gonna have the. We'll get into this. We'll get into this in
a minute. Yeah.
Who else do we want to touch on?
Is there anyone? We touched
on everyone.
I think we have touched on everyone. So off the dome right now, I think the Knicks over under.
It's 22.
I want to say 22, 22 and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
What are you taking?
Well, I bet on the over.
Really?
Personally, I don't think. I mean, because I did, but I don't think we'll hit that.
I think we'll hit the over.
I think we would if we had 82 games. But
obviously, yeah. So what would that be about? Like 25?
I think we'll go 20 and 50, or 21 and 51.
I say we win upwards of 25 games. That's my guess.
That would be fantastic.
I think it's gonna be. I think this is gonna be a top 10 defensive team.
No way.
I do. We only gave up over 100 points once in 4 preseason games.
We played like an awful
I know we did.
Cavs
I know we
team and
did.
an
I know
awful
we did.
Detroit
I know
team.
we did. But I'm just saying. I think this is gonna be a top 10 defensive team. I think it's gonna be a bottom 5 offensive team. But I think it's gonna be a top 10 defensive team.
Yeah. I mean, that's not crazy.
I don't know. I think the Cavs had a decent amount of their guys that played in that last preseason game, and
we smoked them.
Yeah, exactly. So
the thing is that while I watched is, when we were playing like Detroit plays their starters for the first half. Since all of our guys are prove-it guys, we played them the whole game.
Yeah.
So while I noticed, we're playing like RJ and Obi and Mitch while we're playing dude, whatever, Wade on the Cavs.
Wade he was gross. I don't know if any of our listeners watched last 2 games. Dean Wade is a stud. He was hitting everything.
Yeah. Who else is there? Like there's just guys I haven't heard.
Nobody.
Of.
I mean, Doc got a lot of burn for them.
He didn't play well.
No, he didn't play well.
Even though I'm so sad. I'm mad.
Sad, but
I'm not losing sleep.
He's like 27 years old.
I'm not losing sleep.
I'm not losing sleep. Not at all. But yeah, I think that's all we have. I think at least for the Knicks, I think.
You want to do some NBA stuff?
We can do some NBA stuff.
Let's just start with this. Nets.
Expectations?
No, I was going to say Nets Warriors. Who's winning tomorrow?
I think the Nets are going to smoke them.
Really?
I watched the Nets play the Celtics in the preseason.
They look pretty damn good.
They look ridiculous. They're so good up and down. Like, you have KD, Kyrie, Joe Harris shoots the shit out of the ball.
He's a laser. He's got a laser.
Yeah, he's got a laser. LeVert, Dinwiddie, Allen, Jordan, you forget you have Shamet coming off the bench for them. Jeff Green, who's not terrible. That's a deep team,
look,
man.
I hope none of my friends are listening to this because they're all Nets fans.
Yeah, shout out to
Joey.
But
and I will never admit it to their faces.
Yeah,
that they're going to be good this year, but they're going to be good.
They're going to be really
They're going to
good.
be pretty damn good.
It's pretty scary.
So I have the Nets probably winning that game too.
I have the Nets winning that game.
And I have the Clippers beating the Lakers.
I agree with that. Clippers beating the Lakers. Oh yeah, I don't see the Lakers. I think the Lakers are going to start the season like 10-10.
Yeah, because they're just exhausted. LeBron might not play. He's
going to take a lot of load management.
Yeah,
as he should. Honestly, I feel bad for some of those playoff teams. There's such a disparity, and they've had 70 days off, and the Knicks have had 9 months.
So give me your top 4 in order from
each conference.
No, I'm just say championship contenders.
Okay.
With one being most likely to win it, and 4.
Most likely to win the championship. Most likely to win the championship, Los Angeles Lakers. Number 2, Brooklyn Nets.
I disagree, but go ahead.
Okay.
Well, I'll give you mine.
3, Los Angeles Clippers. 4, one. I'm gonna say Milwaukee, and then 4A. You're not gonna like this, but Philadelphia 76ers.
No,
this Sixers team's gonna be good.
Everything
buddy.
you just
They're
said,
gonna
I've
be
disregarded.
Really
like
They're
you
gonna
say
be
this
really
every
good.
year. They were first round exits last year. I know they didn't
they
have Simmons,
shooting.
but they still have Simmons and Embiid. That has not worked.
Just wait.
I'll wait.
JoJo looks good.
They're not.
They have spacing for like the first time in a long time.
When was the last time both of them played an entire year? Never. It never has happened.
Just wait.
Okay.
I think they're going to be very good. That's just my prediction.
All right, fine. I'll give you mine. Lakers 1, Clippers 2, Nets 3, Bucks 4.
Okay, so we're
pretty
got
close.
the same top 4.
I think the Nets and the Bucks are tied. I think Giannis is ready to.
I think it's all about Giannis. I think if Giannis plays well in the playoffs,
Bledsoe has been holding them back, and I think that trade that they made for Drew Holiday was one of the best trades of the offseason.
Drew, because I think you have these 3 first-round picks that when you have Giannis on your team, they're going to be late first-round picks. You can give those up, and Drew's a stud.
I think that's going to be really
That's
fun.
going to be huge for them.
I don't know if teams are going to be scoring 100 on that team.
No one will. I mean, they were already, I think, one of, if not the best defensive team in the league last year.
And Bledsoe's a good defender, but
he's lazy, and I don't know.
And he held them back in the playoffs every time.
Exactly, yeah. And Drew's a better shooter.
Holiday is a proven guy who will step up in the playoffs. Like, do you remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that Pelicans series they played?
I remember against the Blazers. Yeah, he dominated. He's a monster.
No,
I love him.
I really like his game, and
I think they're
going
to
get
them better
perfectly.
And
I think Middleton is only going to continue to get better. I think Giannis is like ready to unleash.
Yeah, Giannis, what is he like? This is like his age 25, 26 season.
Yeah. And he just signed that Supermax.
He's going to average like 34, 30. He's going to have a ridiculous year.
Yeah.
As he always does. His prime years, like the next 3 or 4 years of Giannis' career, are going to be
Who's going to have
ridiculous.
Who's going to have the number 1 pick in the draft?
Who's going to be the worst team, you mean?
Yeah. I might take the Cavs.
I said, so we paused, looked at the standings because we were wondering if we were forgetting some teams. We stick with Cleveland.
It's funny this year because looking up and down the list,
there aren't some terrible teams.
I would have picked a team like the Wizards if Wall was still hurt.
But Beal and Westbrook
is gonna be really fun.
That is.
I don't really know. I think the Bulls might be at the bottom of that list again.
I think it all depends on their young guys. I think the Bulls and the Knicks are pretty similar. I think they might be a little further along than we are. But then again, if Knox, Barrett, quickly those guys continue to play well, Toppin, then they're going to jolt up. And the Bulls, if like Kobe White has another bad year, or who else do they have? Markkanen has another bad year. I think they're going to be pretty bad.
So I think it'll be the Cavs, the Knicks, in play for Kate Cunningham. I mean, who else really is it?
Yeah,
there's not because do you think the Suns are going? You think the Suns are going to be a top 6 seed?
No, I think they're going to squeak in.
A playing game.
I have a hard time because I know they had the great bubble. But that's 8 games, and before that, they were like not a great team. I think they finished like 10 games under 500. They should jolt. It all depends on Ayton. I think if Ayton becomes like finally third year,
the player everyone thought he was going
to be, I think that they're going to be really good because Paul and Booker, they're going to do their thing. Like that's expected.
I want to talk about LaMelo for a second.
Okay.
I think the Hornets are going to make the playoffs.
Ooh. I do not.
Really?
Hell no.
Okay.
I don't see it. Maybe they will. I don't think they will. I really don't think they will. I do think they're better than the Hawks. We also talked about the Pistons. The Pistons are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. If not the worst team in the league.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Killian looks awful.
He looked bad.
He looked terrible.
It's early. Hey, it's early.
It's early. I'm just saying. He can't shoot. Which made me feel
I mean, I like Miles Bridges.
I like Miles Bridges. I like
LaMelo.
PJ Washington. Melo.
I think Hayward is going to be better than he was with the Celtics.
I agree. more volume.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
think. Look, I'm not saying they're a lock. In my opinion, I think they're going to squeak in if they do get in. But I see a world in which they get in.
I see a world in which they get in too. What are your expectations for Atlanta?
I think they're going to be pretty good.
I think
they'll be like a 7 seed.
I think they're going to be 7 or 8. I think they could not meet expectations as much as people think they will. They have a lot of shooting. They don't have a lot of defense.
Yeah, it's like DeAndre Hunter, and that's kind of
Hunter and Trey is
Trey's horrendous on defense.
Trey was like a top 5 offensive player in the league last year and like a bottom 5 defensive player. And he needs to improve a little bit on that end. But I love Bogey. I love Gallinari. Those are 2 great signings.
I'm really intrigued to watch the Warriors play this year.
I am too.
It sucks because like I do really miss watching that team.
Yeah.
But it's clear that they're slipping.
Other than the Warriors, we say including the Warriors, who are your like 2-3 teams that you're very excited to watch?
Some League Pass teams. Other than the Warriors, the Timberwolves. I think this is a do or die year for them.
I agree. It totally is. Yeah.
And I'm excited to watch them. Oh, the Thunder are going to be at the bottom of the.
Oh my God,
yeah,
they're going to be the worst team in the league.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sorry, I was just looking and I totally they just
losing Gallinari, Paul, Adams.
Yeah, they're going to be terrible.
They're going to be awful.
But they're going to be so good in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
Oof. Presti with all those picks.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
So who else? Let's see. The Suns.
Suns are going to be exciting.
They're going to be fun to watch. And in terms of some Eastern Conference teams,
I'm excited to watch Houston.
Houston is definitely going to be kind of fun.
Christian Wood's
the Harden thing has been so weird to follow. It's going to be so weird. It's been so weird, but I think Boogie and Wall, the 2 Kentucky boys, I think it's going to be fun.
Wall looks good so far.
He looks
springy, he looks bouncy. That's exciting. Christian Wood, I think, is going to be
that was a guy that I wish the Knicks
player.
were more serious.
I think he just didn't fit the roster. I think he's naturally is a 4 or a 5, and that's arguably our most crowded positional group. Like after I think we picked Obi, I just think there was no room for Wood.
But I think if we went with a guy like Halliburton, I think
if we picked Halliburton, then I would have loved to have picked Wood.
Yeah.
Because it's like he got 3 years, $41 million, which was a steal in this offseason climate with like Bogdanovich getting $472. Like guys got paid. Bertans got $80 million. So I think that was one of the steals.
No, definitely the last League Pass team is the Wizards, keeping on the same theme.
That's gonna be weird.
It's gonna be weird, but I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, Westbrook. I think it's all about Russell again. I mean,
Beal has proven he was the second.
Beal's going to average like 28, 30 a game.
Yeah, I mean he's super fun to watch, and I think this is also a do or die year for Westbrook.
I agree.
It's like, are you still a valuable player in this league? Can you help win some games, or which should we go with?
Yeah, I think he'll probably do his thing in the regular season as he does. He'll average like 25, 7 and 7, as he did last year. But if they make the playoffs, he always kind of just falls off a cliff as his seasons as his years and years have progressed. He's gotten worse and worse in the playoffs.
What's your prediction for their seeding?
I think they're going to be like, because don't we have the I'm a little confused with the rules of the play-in and how that works.
Yeah,
I don't really understand
really
it.
Understand it either.
I say hovering around 7 and 9.
7 and 9.
7 to 9, like 7 and 9.
Look, I kind of see a world in which they're like the 5th seed.
Really?
Well, if Westbrook and Beal is significantly better fit than Westbrook and Harden.
I agree.
And I like Hachimura, and I kind of and Denny played really well in the preseason. And
I wish.
I know you wish. And I really like Denny. I thought he was gonna go 4 to the Bulls. How's Patrick Williams playing, by the way?
Oh, he's a stud.
Is he playing?
He's averaging like 14 a game. He's got like these like sweet pull-up moves. He looks like he's gonna be.
That's
a star.
great. I
really like him.
I
yeah,
don't
really
care
like
at all for that Bulls team.
I don't either.
But I am excited to see him.
The other guy that actually looked really good, who the Knicks were targeting, is Vassell. Vassell, the Florida State guys, Vassell and Williams both look really good. Vassell, the whole thing about Vassell's shot was completely overblown. It looks completely normal.
Yeah. I had a feeling. It was just a video of him messing around. Is there anything else you want to talk about? MVP prediction. We'll do some award predictions.
We'll do award predictions,
and then we'll wrap it up. MVP. Look, I would instinctively go Giannis. Voter fatigue. I don't think
he will.
happen.
I'm gonna say Luka Doncic.
I was gonna say that too.
His odds are crazy.
I
He's
know.
like plus 400.
I know. That's ridiculous.
And no one else comes even close besides Giannis. No one else comes even close.
I think Anthony Davis is a good candidate.
I think AD is a good candidate.
It's gonna be hard with LeBron.
With LeBron, but I think Lillard, if they play well, it's a really prove it year for them. Also.
Yeah,
like they're a team that's.
It's gonna be a really interesting year.
It really is.
Really
I think if the Blazers are good, I think Lillard.
I think the Blazers
will
be like
the
third
MVP.
seed this year.
Yeah.
But
If
they
they
lose in
do
the second round.
Yeah. If they do, I think if they're the third seed, I think Lillard's gonna be the MVP.
Okay.
I was gonna put a bet on Lillard plus 10,000. Or plus 1,000.
That's a good bet.
I think. Yeah.
10,000.
Is he 10,000?
It's probably 1,000.
I think it's 1,000. Yeah.
Okay. Most improved player off the top of your head.
Christian Wood.
Christian Wood's a good pick because he just killed it at the end of last season.
Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell
Robinson. Block party.
No, it's not going to be a Nick.
It's never going to be a Nick.
Maybe RJ Barrett.
AD is going to win Defensive Player of the
Year.
Year.
AD is going to win DPOY.
Rookie of the Year. I said LaMelo. It's not going to be Anthony Edwards.
It's not going to be Anthony Edwards.
Look, it's either going to be LaMelo. It's either going to be. It
I
could
think
be
Obi
Okoro.
might have it.
I like Okoro.
I love Okoro.
His odds are plus 1,000.
I'm gonna hit Patrick Williams.
2,000.
I'm gonna say Patrick Williams can be a Rookie of the Year.
Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
That's an interesting pick. But I like it.
But I'm gonna say I love the way he looks in the preseason. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because of how I don't think it'll be Denny, even though I think because of just Wall and Westbrook.
Yeah, I just think he's not gonna get enough.
But because of usage, I think LaMelo's got.
I also would say the same thing about Obi. I think because of Randall, I don't think Obi's gonna get the minutes that
the touches and everything
he needs.
But LaMelo's gonna get all the touches.
Yeah, but they also have Rozier. He's not even starting in the preseason.
Yeah, but he will. I think. Eventually.
I think LaMelo's gonna shoot like 33% from the field. Like he shot terrible.
But he'll average like 9 assists a game, get 10 boards maybe. Like he's a really good.
I just don't know if he's ever gonna be a positive player. That's my worry with Melo. He's never gonna shoot well enough. He's never gonna be able to defend well enough, and he's never gonna be able to be efficient enough.
Are we missing any awards? No.
I don't know. MVP, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year.
I guess this connects like whoever your like breakout team is.
Yeah. Who is your breakout team? Do you have one off the top of your head? I don't really have one.
I'm inclined to go like if the Mavs end up being like the 3 seed, just say Carlisle. Carlisle might be a good bet. But they broke out last year kind of. They were the 7 seed, but were pretty close in standings. Maybe Stotts.
That's what I was about to say. Terry Stotts.
Or Dark Horse's what's his name? The coach of the Hawks. Lloyd Pierce.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know that. That's gonna be interesting.
That's gonna be I don't know who's gonna be the breakout.
Coach of the Year, you never really know. It's hard to predict that.
I agree.
Anything else you want to say? Knicks, NBA, Jets.
Oh. We had the worst night. Things were looking so up for the Jets. It's been like a terrible year, and then we blew it.
Set us back a decade or two.
I mean, I think there's a lot. Ohio State, Clemson is going to tell us a lot. If Justin Fields plays well in that game, I'll feel a million times better.
Well,
go Jags.
Look,
man.
assuming the Jags don't win another game and we get the second overall pick,
I take Justin Fields.
I don't know if I do that.
Wilson. I worry about Wilson.
No, I don't know if I take a QB.
You stick with Sam?
Yeah, I think I might stick with Sam.
And a real OC.
Yeah, and a real offensive coordinator and a real coach.
What do you say?
And then you
about,
trade back. You get a guy like Devontae Smith.
I would take
and
Smith.
And then a second round pick, and you trade like a team. Someone's gonna want Justin Fields. Someone's gonna want him. You trade back. You get like the 8th or 9th overall pick. You take Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase. Wait, hold on. And then you take Travis Etienne.
Okay.
Or if you keep the second overall pick, you take that offensive line guy. What's his name?
Sewell. He's people say he's the best offensive line prospect.
But the thing is, we already have
McKay. We always Becton, but you can get Becton on one side. I don't give a shit which side, right or left tackle. Sewell on the other.
And nobody's getting to the QB.
That's 15 years.
Yeah.
Like that is beautiful right there. People say since Joe Thomas, who's one of the best NFL offensive linemen ever. He's best prospect.
The only thing, I would like to have him. We have Mekhi though. I think we just need Sam needs some weapons.
Sam needs weapons,
and I think you get Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith or Etienne.
Okay, Trevor's not over. Bears are
terrible.
Weird.
Bears they could either score
they could
45.
Be great or they can be awful. I don't know. We'll see. And just trust in Gardner Minshew.
I'm telling you though,
man.
Sam Darnold can still be great. He can still. There's still.
Yeah, I think
hope.
Gase is just. I'm worried.
Gase ruined him,
dude. I'm worried we're not going to fire Gase. It's like my biggest fear.
I think that we have to fire him. We fired Greg Williams already.
He fired Greg Williams.
That's true.
Gase.
Well, because they were beefing all year.
Shift blame from himself. But no, I think Fields is better than people are giving him credit
I don't know.
for.
Look,
I'd argue
he
played so badly last week. Yeah,
he played
we can go on a tangent about this.
Terrible against Indiana. He's lucky they won that game.
He also though first 3 games of the year.
Penix completely outplayed him.
Okay, fair. First 3 games of the year though, he was incredible. Like 80% completion.
Like this matters. His 2 biggest games.
Play Penn State, man.
They were 1-6 or whatever. They're terrible. No, look.
I think he
had how many interceptions did he have yesterday?
I think yesterday is a fluke. I won't.
It's a
fluke because they were missing 20 players.
I don't care. They played 2. He got bailed out by Trey Sermon. He got bailed out.
Okay.
By Trey Sermon.
I think we're gonna learn a lot. We're gonna know where the Jets are by the time Clemson plays Ohio State. I think if Fields plays well against Clemson, that's all I need.
Well, wait, what's the seeding again? It's Bama 1, Notre Dame 4,
Clemson 2, Ohio State 3, Notre Dame 4.
Alabama's gonna rock Notre Dame.
They're gonna
that is gonna be
ugly. I don't think Clemson's better than Alabama. I think
Clemson might be better than Bama.
Clemson's good.
I think Clemson will absolutely dominate Ohio State, and I don't think it'll be within 25 points.
Okay. Oh man, that would be a rough watch. If we have the second pick at that juncture in time, I'm going to be the biggest Ohio State fan in
Trevor
the world.
throws 5 touchdowns.
He will. Besides the one interception he had against Notre Dame, he looked incredible.
Well, the interception was a batted pass. Those are tough to
pass. But other than that, man, dude,
Trevor sucks. Fields sucks.
I'm just saying Trevor looked incredible.
No, Trevor's fantastic.
He's 90 yards rushing.
Trevor might be the next Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he's
who can
incredible.
run.
Yeah. All right.
This is just depressing.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We're gonna do one of these soon.
Maybe Jets Rewind coming. Yeah.
We say this every week, but we're actually, now that the season's starting.
Yeah.
And we're on
winter break, so it's easier.
And I do want to say, although we haven't been producing as much of these podcasts, the numbers and viewership has been great.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for sticking with
listening.
us.
Yeah.
It actually is really nice.
Whenever Johnny's semester ends,
January 20th.
We're gonna get in business. All right. After January 20th.
After January 20th, I can stop grinding.
No more supplements to write.
No more deferral letters.
We're in business. All right.
All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.